My question is simple. It's on the concept of arrested development. Me and you, we've been together in the struggle from the days way back. Was it in Atom Cemetery when we went for the burial of Kunle Shonowo from Lasu, where I was killed way back in those days? And the term arrested developments appears to the word your critics use on you, that you have never really outgrown your student union days to consider the type of problem that Nigeria faces. Nigeria does not have a democracy. Since 1999, what we have was a permanent coup d'etat by the ruling elite against the masses. But yet, you always call for protest, for people to come out. People like Farotimi believe that protests can never achieve anything, particularly in light of the Nigerian problem, whereby what we have is bigger than apartheid, is worse than apartheid. It's bigmanism. It's a kind of feudalism. However, apartheid is visible, black and white.
Alaba, please, Alaba,
I'm going to my question.
I'll get to that, please.
Yeah. So what we have is bigmanism, and however, to fight it, protest is not going to fight it. Have you considered forming coalition with people who are the movers and shakers of the youth, recruiting them into the movement, educating them on the bigger fight, and as we move forward, because political partisanship is not going to lead us to the promised land. So we have to view the problem from a bigger perspective than we are currently approaching. We can't approach a bigger problem like that, like children. We have to have a bigger approach. That was my question. Coalition, recruiting, starting a church move, not a church, a movement that is bigger than just contesting. Thank you.
Thank you. Sure.
I hear some of these things you say all the time, that somehow a person who dedicated his life to making Nigeria better since I was 21 years old, and now I'm 54, have grown to the point that I've seen the world, try to even make it work for other people, but have never looked back one day. It's somehow described the way you have described me, like a child. It's very easy to, and I'm not saying this to insult anyone, it's easy to sit behind a computer and say whatever you want to say about Nigeria. But if you have to walk in my shoes for one day, right, where you look back and people are following you and they could kill you any moment, where you're flying and your flight gets to where you're going, and like it happened to me this last trip, the entire windshield had shattered and they didn't tell anybody, and we didn't know what happened. And where people arrest you, lock you up, where people kill members of your family on the streets, like a dog, and you still say that somebody who stayed and fight the system in that manner is a child. I don't know how to respond. But to your question about coalition, the coalition you are looking for does not exist in Nigeria, because you use the word as movers and shakers of youth. Who are the movers and shakers of youth in Nigeria that that you can point to? Is it the people who use NSAS to make fame, money, and ran away when the NSAS people are still dead and undiscovered? Is it the people who sell themselves to politicians whenever there is money that you are calling movers and shakers of, or is it musicians or movie makers, the same type you have in America, who will tell you to go and vote but themselves don't vote? No, the coalition that Nigeria needs, that I believe and I work with, are the coalition of the oppressed. But they may not have name. I have a problem, as a matter of fact, and I will confess it any day to you. I have a problem with the big men that you refer to as shakers, because they don't shake nothing. If they are really shakers, why is the country not shaking in any way? Why is the country they are trying to shake not shaking? You see, there's a lot of people, and you see them, who come out and say big things, like we're talking about Rudolf earlier, VDM and all. They have followers. because that's how Nigeria has been designed. But there's no substance there. You mentioned one of our friends. He will even tell you that the best he can do for Nigeria is to speak whenever it is safe to speak. I speak, I act, I walk the talk. What I can't force, and I haven't been able to force, is the change that I'm looking for, or that I've always said I want. But that is dependent on all of us. Rudolf was mentioning earlier that some people will go online and say that I should go back to Nigeria. I'll give you an example. There was a person who asked me that same question, and I asked, why don't we go to Nigeria together? And it's supposed to be one of the big shakers. He said, no, me. I can give you all the money I have to go to Nigeria, but I will never step in Nigeria. But if you see the person on Twitter, you would think that they want the country. They won't even go near Nigeria because they understand on the inside what it takes to even walk around in Nigeria in the middle of these hyenas in just one day. There are some people that what has happened to me over these years, they happened to them once. They disappear completely. They are alive, but they will never. They said that to us. So, but I'm not here to brag about what I can do and cannot do. But I also can have an objection to people saying that at my age, that I'm still student union and this thing. As if the people governing Nigeria are acting like adults. The people that are running Nigeria down. Is it Tinubu? Would you not wish that the guy who was the union president during your time is president of Nigeria now, instead of Tinubu, who doesn't know his left from his right? Or tell me which governor of a state in Nigeria that you knew in school that you would have voted for as a student union secretary or PRO, who is now governor? Is it the one in Ogun State that was convicted of credit card fraud, who is now Ogun State governor? Or is it the one in Imo who didn't win election, that they gave election, who was driving Maurice Ibekwe, that you would have voted for? Mention one person in Nigeria that is the big shaker of Nigeria today that you want me to work with. Mention one, now that we are here, that you wish I was working with, that I'm not working with, that would have made a difference. Mention one.
I would.
Alaba, no, sorry.
No. I want you to answer me.
Okay. Alaba, go ahead.
Yeah, Sowore, in the issue of Nigeria, the coalition I'm talking about, listen, I'm mentioning them. In the issue of the coalition I'm talking about is the coalition of the willing. Let us start with, there's a lot of Nigeria that are disgruntled with the state of Nigeria that are on your stance as we speak. But they are not connected. They are not mobilized on the same page.
Alaba mentioned the name. We have to go to other people. He actually has to go. It's not a joke. He has to go.
I would say there are still some righteous, a few religious leaders, not the Pentecostal ones. Not the Pentecostal ones.
All right, Alaba.
You could move people from Nigerians are religious people. You could start from mosques, churches.
We'll talk about it privately then, Alaba, since we're friends.
All right, let's go.